Today I will be presenting the general overview of DevOps. The DevOps is basically the bridging the gap between the operation team and the development team, right? So the thing is that earlier, when the DevOps days were not there, we used to have like developers used to code, they used to zip or package their code into form of some package and then send it to the operation team, and operation team took their sweet time to deploy it on their servers or anywhere, right? So and during that time the developers basically and the tester would be sitting idle, and a lot of time was getting wasted from basically coding to deployment of those of the code, right? So DevOps came into the picture, and it tried to bridge the gap between these two, right? By implementing some CI/CD process where the development team can just code and check in their source code into some source code repository and directly go and deploy it in some server, and the testing starts, right? So instant feedback comes into the picture, right? So this is what DevOps basically does, but it's not like a tool or a product kind of thing. It's like a journey of an organization to bridge the gap between these teams. So this is what DevOps is. I will go ahead and basically go and present basically about the organization. So organizations has started basically to adopt DevOps and by thinking that they would be expecting some business outcomes, right? So like they would be seeing the software delivery faster, and there would be like improvement in the quality and reliability of the software, right? So that is why they adopted basically the DevOps, right? But in reality, the DevOps practices have not delivered the result organizations expected. So as you know, DevOps is a transformational journey, and while some have made a progress in adopting the DevOps practices, but most continue to still struggle. In fact, if you see on the slide that like 62% says of the organization says that the delivery takes too long and the quality is still unpredictable. So why is this? So there are some challenges in adopting the DevOps practices, right? So first one is that there are like insufficient test data, right? So addressing the data security concern that there could be like PII data. The PII data is nothing but personally identifiable information, or the PHI data, and the HIPAA and other data should also be protected in the lower environment, right? But the thing is that you cannot just simply copy the production data into the lower environment, because it might contain a lot of PII data and other stuff, right? So it has to be treated, sanitized properly in order to make it into the lower environment. So this is one of the challenge which organizations face. The other challenge which organizations face is the missing integration. They don't have the proper end-to-end environment where they can test their code, right? So suppose if there are some third-party APIs or the mainframe or some application which have some constraint for testing, right? So those applications and other stuffs hold the testing back. So they don't have the end-to-end environment to test their code, and due to that, the software is not basically tested properly, and which leads to defect at the later stage of time, which will cost the money, right? And the third one, which I am going to talk, is about the manual process release, right? So if you are doing a manual process release, and human basically does that, it tends to have some misouts or something which has not been tested properly, and what version of code has been pushed into the production. So you don't have the visibility of like what has been tested, what has gone into the production, right? So So that visibility is not there. So always with manual thing, there will be some errors linked to it, right? So that is the third one, and the last one is the insufficient test modeling, right? So as you know, the testing is being done by writing the test scenarios or test cases, right? So in the test cases, if a QA is writing the test cases, not all the scenarios will be covered basically during the testing, right? So often like testers will miss some scenarios where they would forget to write a particular flow, right? So that is one of the challenge which DevOps like the organization faces while adopting the DevOps transformational journey. So Broadcom basically offers some solutions to overcome these challenges, okay? So it helps, basically Broadcom solution empowers DevOps excellence by accelerating the time to market, which I will be talking in the next slide, then mitigating the security and the operational risk, elevating quality, and enhancing reliability. I'll go through each of these sections in the next thing. So how basically we can accelerate the time to market. So we can create like on-demand production like environments to basically test out the softwares, right? So we can use the DevOps product called service virtualization, which can help you basically to create the virtual kind of service on behalf of your applications. So it can be either third-party APIs, or it can be a mainframe application, right? Because if you try to do a performance test on mainframe or any third-party API, which would be costing you on per transaction basis, maybe it is a 1 cent. But if you do a performance testing on that, if you are putting a million requests, it is going to cost you, right? So so this service virtualization, the dev test tool basically will help you to create the similar kind of service, and that service can be basically used to hit on basically the test cases with, right? And it will basically help you to remove the constraint what we face during the testing phase, right? So this is one of the things by which we can accelerate the time to market and also save the cost, because third-party APIs, I told you, they are costing money. If you are replacing that with the dummy service, or you can say the virtualized service, it can basically save you a lot of dollars, and also it can help you find the defects at early stage, and it will help you to cut down the cost of resolving those defects in the later stage of testing. The second one is mitigating the operational risk, right? So we have to secure the data in the non-production environments. So how would you do that? So the first thing is that we have to identify the PII data. We have to be in compliance with the HIPAA rules or any privacy regulations, organization like GDPR, CCPA, etc. Right? So what we can do is that we can use our Broadcom test data management tool basically to bring on the data and from the production to the lower environment, and we can mask those data so that there is no PII data available in the non-production environment, and it will mask the data in such a way that the referential integrity of those data will be kept intact. Suppose that if in a database I'm changing the name or the date of birth of a particular person, right? So if my name is getting changed to something else, it will be changed in all of the database, not only in the one table of the database, right? So that the referential integrity of the database of the data remains intact. So that can be done through the Broadcom Test Data Manager. Also, when you have a new application or the software which you are trying to build, right? So, and it has not been in production yet. So how will you get data for that, right? And you will not have the right kind of test data basically to test the edge cases like the negative test cases or the positive test cases, right? So for that, we can make use of synthetic data generation basically to generate the data synthetically and populate and give those data to the testers in order to test their applications. What it will do, it will help you to deliver the software or to do the testing in the same sprint. If you are following the agile methodology, usually what happens is basically that in a sprint, the development team is writing their code, they will be deploying it, and the testers would be sitting idle because they don't have anything to do, right? Because they don't have the software, they don't have the test data to test. So what testers can do, they can make utilize of this synthetic test data generation to generate the data and basically use those test data to create the test scenarios, right? So that is one thing. The other thing is that as we said, right, like there are like manual process where people or the admins of the operation team basically click on a button to or execute some commands to deploy the software to your servers, right? So and because of that, we tend to lose the track of the version and other things, right? So version controlling is not there. So we can make use of our continuous delivery director to basically promote all the code in a versionized manner to the next stage of the software development lifecycle, whether it is UAT or production. Generally, production and UAT are kept as same so that we can test out any of the defects or any of the defects in production in the UAT environment. So CDD can be used to do that, to provide end-to-end control visibility. One second. And last but not the least, so how can we optimize the test coverage, right? So as we said, that testers often tend to miss some of the scenarios where you see that a particular code has been tested, over-tested, and the section of code gets like little attention to it, right? And it's not like tested properly, right? So what Broadcom, so we have a product called ARD, Agile Requirement Designer, which can help you to create the test scenarios. So it is a model-based testing approach where it can leverage the models basically to create the test scenarios and automatically. So it within no time it can create the test scenarios. Like if there is a flow chart or a model kind of diagram for your use case, right? So you can push that into the ARD tool, and ARD tool basically can generate the lot of test scenarios for that, and it will cover all the scenarios. Not even a single flow will be left behind, which often gets missed when the testers write their test scenarios. So this is one. This is the last one which I wanted to tell you, and yep. So in summary, basically, these products at Broadcom help you to resolve and adopt the DevOps transformational journey in a better way to make your software or application time to market. It reduces it. It will reduce your compliance risk. It will elevate your quality of the software, also the reliability. And I think, one second, yeah. So this is a general overview of what our DevOps solution looks like. We have a test data manager. It can reduce the test data management effort by more than 60%. It will reduce the PII exposure by 99%. The service virtualization is basically, it can help you to cut down the environment cost by more than 80%. And it can also reduce the dev test cycle time by more than 50%. ARD, I have already talked, and I think our friend from Southwest, Anwar, is going to talk more about ARD. So, There are some customer success comment as well, right? So we have US Healthcare who has provided us with some feedback on how they have enhanced the reliability. Like it was taking them like 18 to 24 weeks to create and maintain the test, but now it takes like very less time, basically by using the ARD, Agile Requirement Designer, to create the test scenarios and test their software at once, and they are basically able to deliver the software and the tested software within the sprint. So these are some customer success comments. Then there is Green Choice. We have a DMV where they have said about the service virtualization, like they have helped the service virtualization has helped the test environment setup complexity by more than 80% and improved the developer productivity by almost like 30%.